So this is our newest launch. We put this one out on Super Bowl weekend. So we've got 5 here. So wow. Camelback Mountain is right here. We literally, if you drive a circle around Camelback Mountain and back here, you'll hit all 5 of them.
Oh shit, nice.
And so we've got the one in Huntington Beach. Yesterday I was up in Sedona, just kind of scouring that market, getting used to that.
Yeah.
Getting ready to see if we want to get up there. We got 2 in Kissimmee coming. We just closed on one. We got a second one under contract right now.
Are they like big ass ones with
12
like?
bedroom, 12 bath is the first one.
Are you gonna like make them super
themed?
Yeah.
Crazy, like
those are the ones that make money over there.
Yeah. You can't. The data says you can't buy less than 9 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So even me, like I wouldn't even want to buy a 9 bedroom, but we do have one under contract only because it's next door to our 12 bedroom. So we'll have 21 bed, 21 bath. Our 12 bed is the largest property in the neighborhood.
Shit.
So we have this huge vacant lot next to us. So we're gonna kind of turn it into a wedding chapel, like really go crazy marketing on the Disney wedding theme, which is like a big thing apparently.
That'd be huge.
Yeah, it'd be really neat.
Yeah.
So
that's a good idea.
I want to get into Mexico. I have to get comfortable first. I went and checked out Tulum. Tulum was really cool. I don't know if I can get comfortable crossing the border yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm there yet.
Why?
I don't know if I'm there. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's funny. This is a 3.5-hour flight. So was Cancun from my house. It's not like it's not the end of the world. But I don't really know how foreign governments work.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
You hear all these things about, you know, do you really care? You know, do you really have to worry about the militia or not the militia?
Cartel.
The cartel. Do you really have to worry about that? Like, I know where I'm from in Lebanon. If the government wants to come and just say, hey, look, we own 50% of your stuff now, you don't really have a choice. It is what it is. And so, does the cartel kind of work the same way? I wonder. I don't know. I mean, I think
scary.
I think there's somebody in the mastermind that does it. I just have to get comfortable.
Thumbs out. Thumbs out.
You're looking at what?
El Salvador. That's where my wife's from.
Okay.
So we're gonna be going out there later this year.
Good.
And probably gonna potentially pull the trigger on an Airbnb down there.
In El Salvador.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I feel like I would need like family or boots on the ground there.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's where she's from. We have family over
people
there.
that you can trust are
you
not
know.
like fuck you over.
But we love it because their currency is the US dollar. So it's like, yeah.
I mean, look, there are ways to do it. There are people that are investing all over the world, right? So
For sure.
There are ways to do it and ways to do it the right way. It's just, I don't know if I might. We have so many good opportunities here. It's like, how risky do I get?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So what's the point, really, if you can double down here and everything's close and, you know, you get scale, economies of scale?
Yeah.
You're better off doing that, you know?
Yeah.
I think so.
For sure.
Dude, this is nice.
Yeah, it's super nice.
It's really nice.
Thank you. Thanks to this gentleman, we were able to take it down. Tom is, you know, I use the OPM model,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Are
everybody
you
knows.
OPM?
What?
He's the OPM?
He's OPM. You done with OPM? Yeah, you know it. But it's a great model. I mean, it's a great win-win in the way, and I structure it very differently than I venture to say anybody else.
It's hard
I know.
to sell a guy from Iowa, you know, a place in Arizona, like, oh, how cold is it now in Iowa? It'd be cool to be an Airbnb down in Scottsdale, right? Okay.
The way I sell it is I bring in partners that are 50% equity, and they're 50% equity even after they get paid back.
Yeah.
And so I want partners in their lifestyle assets. This is not the fund structure. This is not any of that. This is a little different. I know I've gotten feedback in boardroom before about not having the fund, and I get the math and the semantics around all of that. I totally get it, right? Like, I'm not short-sighted in that they work those models, but I always go with, I really enjoy building relationships and partnerships, and when I do one deal with somebody, my goal is to do 20 deals with somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I might leave money per deal on the table because it's not a fund structure, but if I get volume, then I build relationships, I win big still, and everybody.
I think it's a better structure to do it the way you do it. That's how I've done all my deals, besides this new one we're working on, is a different model. It's not the fund structure at all. I think it's more win-win because the fund structure, I feel like, is more about fees and feeing the deal, where it's more of a win-win when it's, hey, this is 50-50 or whatever the spread is, and like you're eating when he's eating first always, always the investor gets first, and then we eat, and it's based on performance and how you're, you know, pushing the deal and in running the operation, running the project. So I feel like that's the best. And with my lady, like I built a relationship where I have $18 million of her money in different deals because we built that relationship. So it's better to have one person that you build a relationship with than have to constantly go out and raise money. So if you prove value to him, then Tom's going to keep investing with you and be like, yeah, let's keep doing more. So that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I love that. I'm curious. I mean, I guess we haven't even talked about this. We're 3 months. I mean, we haven't had any distributions yet. We're 3 months old, and we're still going live. We're already profitable, which is really cool. What's your take on it so far? Like, I mean, we're still very early on, but what's your take on it as far as your opinion on the investment? Are you happy with the investment so
Good.
far?
I'm glad to finally get down here and see it.
Yeah.
You hadn't yet.
I love being able to come down and see it and use it. Obviously, it's nice, but definitely want to get down here with the family and be able to enjoy it. So, like, that's the other part. Like, I could have invested in like any other like Airbnb fund or like some of the bigger ones, but like some of those you can't like actually
Utilize the property.
go and utilize it. So I think that's a huge part. But then I mean, just it's all good.
How did like it work out? Like, did you approach him? You guys approach each other? You just talked about your deal, and then like how did you all connect on this opportunity?
I mean, you could.
So I reached out after one of the boardrooms and was just like, hey, dude, like I want to do one of these somewhere. And then we looked at a handful of different ones, but then he said, yeah, we got this one locked up as a new build. And down here, like I was like, some of the other stuff that's on the market is like, you could tell someone is like buying something for $400 or $500, putting a lot of lipstick on it, and then trying to sell it for like 1.2 million or something.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, I don't like in like the single story, like the old, like an 80s or 90s home that just is prettied up. I'm like, that ain't like really getting me excited. But then on this one, I was like, no, this is a tear down rebuild.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, if we're spending like $2 million on a fucking house, like down there, like
Better be
brand new build is like where it's at.
Yeah,
right?
for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we love this neighborhood and everything about it. Tom, you know, I mean, what's really neat, you do totally. I mean, your model is so cool. I mean, you're all triple net, commercial, and you're even doing masterminds.
Yeah, so that was the other attractive part is, you know, with Starbucks and RVs and Applebee's and whatever. Like, I don't even have keys to those properties.
Yeah.
I don't even go to them because one, I don't drink coffee, but I don't even like go to those properties. So like this was like, oh, we can actually invest in a property that we're not only making money on, we can actually go and enjoy with our family or, you know, ourselves or whatever. So it was like, okay, our other properties we don't even go to, so we don't even like get that satisfaction even owning them, versus like here where it's like, oh, we actually can go there and stay and enjoy part of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
What's the communication like during the whole purchasing side, getting it ready stage, like as far as an investor?
So with us, it's pretty easy. I mean, I just say I'm not trying to create other jobs, right? So I handle it from front to back. We went with a movie theme at this house. So that was, you know, Hollywood was our whole thing. So I asked him and his brother kind of like their 10 favorite movies, any input that they wanted, but I didn't involve them any more than they needed or wanted to be involved, right? It was like, hey, what do you guys want to offer as far as advice? But from there, I'll do all the work. I'll handle it all. So I hired the teams. I got boots on the ground. They got everything ready. I was down here for launch. I was down here for moving day, all of that. I send out, we're at a point now, so I just sent out our first monthly financial report. And our communication's been primarily via email. I mean, it's just been, hey, what's this, what's that, what's this, what's that? And that's about it. I'm available at all times kind of thing, but not any more than anybody needs to be. I mean, I think, you know, what's cool is we're all high level enough, like, we all know, like, meetings for meetings are just meetings. Right? Yeah. It's like, hey, I have like 2 questions. I just want my answer to my 2 questions.
And I'm like, you cannot bullshit me because I am actually smarter than you. Don't fucking
I'm just the look. She's the brain.
I'm gonna be a pain in your ass.
But it's great, you know. And I think, like I said, I think because we do the structure the way we do it, where everybody's equity, it really is just, it's so cool because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you probably know this from your guys' line of real estate too, is what's really cool in real estate is, you know, and I say this all the time about short-term rental hosts. This is where I think most of them get it wrong, is they invest in something based on on short-term rental data, and I don't. I say, what's the real estate investment, right? Like, what are my opportunities with that real estate? Because if you make a good real estate investment decision first, and then apply STR data second, STR data could support the decision to buy. But then you buy, and for whatever reason it flops, you have bad neighbors or ordinances change or whatever it might be. At the end of the day, you have exit strategies, do you have other opportunities with that real estate? So at its core, we're still real estate investors, and I think it's the same in all of our walks in all of our journeys, right? And so for me, I focus on real estate first. So I looked in here and I said, there's plenty of more new money coming into this neighborhood. It's a best school district in Phoenix. We got Camelback Mountain right there. We have walkable cafes. It's just low crime rate. All of those things, you put them together, it's just, this is a great real estate investment at its core. So data supported it. If it flops, we make an exit. We all get our money back, and there's no harm done. Next deal, right?
Yeah.
So
That's how we bought them too. We don't want to just base it just on short-term rental because things could change and like then you get screwed. And there's a lot of people who definitely do that. And like, oh, the deal works because of this. I'm like, it only works because of that. Like, that's not a deal. Like, yeah, 100%. You can't only have one option in your tool belt. You got to be able to have different maneuvers or different exit strategies for sure.
Yep.
Mm. We have an Airbnb in Scottsdale. It just opened. We hired this girl. I honestly can't remember her name. Might be Brittany or something like that. She's only like 25. She maxed out this place. It's insane. Like she themed it out because it's a very competitive market here. She themed it out as like strictly for like bachelorette parties. It's like all like girled out.
Yep.
They put like pink dinosaurs in the backyard. It's all like Instagram stuff for like girls and bachelorette parties. But she was super like affordable for her service to like really mac it out, and with the furniture and the stuff she got. So like if you guys are gonna keep doing more over here, I think she's from Texas, but she travels fire. Like
That's
she's
awesome.
good,
Can't
and
hurt
she's
to
got a
hear.
big, and she shows her people. She has a big audience, so she shows her audience like what she's doing, and then people are like, oh, they want to stay there because she has almost got like built-in customers from her doing the work. So
That's awesome.
I'll give you her info if you guys want it.
What's your property? 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom?
It's a 4.2, I think.
Okay, where at?
I literally don't even know. So let me see what the address is. I have like Airbnb partners, so I just like raise the money and do that side, and they handle the Airbnb side.
Who's managing it for you?
It's called Blue Gems. They have a podcast, Blue Gems podcast.
Oh,
You
yeah.
heard those guys?
Bullock.
JB, yeah. That's my guy.
Yeah,
They live in Orlando.
I jumped on an episode with them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, great dudes.
I got us to.
Actually, just today they were asking me about a property out here.
Nice. Yeah, so I went in with them. We were trying to get in right before Super Bowl, but we missed it. Couldn't make it happen.
How are you guys finding deals?
My deals are just coming on market. I've got my agents bringing them to me at this point. It's really interesting because the short-term rental space, first off, I hear all the time, Scottsdale saturated.
Well,
And I'm like, no, Scottsdale's saturated if you don't understand the data. If you understand the data and how to differentiate yourself, how to establish and how to set up your property, you're good.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? That's step one. But step two, I think you had so many people invest in the short-term rental space because it was shiny object syndrome over the last few years, and they're not running it like a business. And because of that, they're starting to get to page 7 and page 8 of search inquiries on Airbnb. I think those guys are going to be on clearance over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. But luckily we've done really well historically, especially on this one. I mean, this one launched faster than any of our other 5. We've got in the summertime, bless you, the entire industry is a little down right now for what's coming up in the summer. So we were talking about this the other day. Our summer is starting off a little weak, but we've got. I just got assigned a market manager with Airbnb. So apparently, and I don't know what the threshold is, but it says once you make Airbnb so much money, they assign you a dedicated market manager. So I just had my second meeting with this market manager, and it was going over all this data, bringing all of our data to my attention, which I already had access to, but she really put it into a good light for me. But what's really cool is I signed an NDA with her. So on our next meeting, I get a whole bunch of insider information. Now, I don't know what the insider information is, but I get a whole lot of insider information for signing this NDA. And that information should help me optimizing our listings and keeping them at the very top, which just turns into views and turns into more bookings, right? So the one thing I haven't done, and probably the reason our summer has gotten off to a slower start right now, is I haven't just clearanced my prices yet, just because I don't know if I want to be greedy. I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know. You know, last year we had 2 properties that had empty calendars going into the summer. And then we ended up with 2 people that were remodeling their homes coming in and picking up our product for 60 days. So I kind of like leaving, you know, I don't want to just drop my prices and get one stay for 4 nights and that's all it turned into, right?
Yeah.
If anything, I'd rather keep all 60 of those days in case you have somebody that's got, you know, the insurance jobs or whatever it might be. Somebody needs a property for 60 to 90 days.
And we'll pay the price.
Yeah, exactly. So I could start talking to the builders around here and say, hey, who are you guys building for? Where are they staying? What are they doing?
Yeah.
And let's get those guys in here. So I'm going to try to get one of those long-term, like summer tenants in here.
Yeah, there's a guy who's in my coaching group, and he owns a lot of like Airbnbs and a lot of Airbnb arbitrage. And what he was telling me is like you can't even, when he's looking at new deals, he doesn't even look at the last 2 years of numbers because he looks at previous to that, because the last 2 years are like super inflated because of COVID and pent up demand. So he's like, I don't even, like, I'm looking at data prior to that to kind of like run my numbers on what is expected, because everybody is like seeing a slowdown, but it's not like a real slowdown. It's like back to old numbers pre-COVID. Right. So that's like what you kind of got to look at and run numbers at, because it's just different. Like there was just super high demand, and it's the same thing with like self-storage. Like self-storage, like everybody's full. Everybody's at 90, 95%, 98% occupied. But previously, historically, stabilization, like occupancy was like 85%.
Yep. Like
that was the industry average. Now everybody's super high, and most people think they're going to go back to like the 85%, you know, sooner than later. And so like it's kind of like going back to what actually was going on in the past. So might be you know, look at that direction as you continue to buy more. Like, hey, let's go back and see what the data was in 2019, you know, pre-COVID, and see what that is. And like if it still works on that numbers, then you know, kind of base it off of that.
Right. Yeah, that's why I haven't really bought anything recently, because of the interest rates. Obviously, Airbnb is a little down, right? So that's all I own is just 7 short-term rentals, and they're not like crazy vacation style homes. They're just like regular homes. And they still do great, but we've definitely seen a slowdown, and so like I just haven't really.
You should.
The
Are you managing them, or who's managing them?
Yeah.
Do you have like a full-time manager?
Yeah.
And are they like on it?
They're on it.
Because like it's a fucking business. Like I would never. It's like a it's a hospitality. Like it's
you have to be all in.
Yeah.
You do.
And I think too, like I don't know how yours are. With you know, I'm sure like that girl who I mentioned, like you put her in your properties and makes your properties stand out. Like it will boost yours completely. Because like it's the houses that are like plain Jane, like that don't get booked. Like some people want to stay there for a reason. People want to fucking be on their Instagram and be like, look at this fucking place, you know? And you know, $10,000 of fancy furniture and painting the walls different is what gets people there. Like that little bit. So like it might be like a fucking kick in the nuts to be like, oh, I gotta put 10, 15 grand to each property. No, you know, but like that 10, 15 grand probably like double your occupancy, you know, get you 100K. So like you might want to look at that on your No,
I agree. So we fired our previous property manager.
And you didn't even call me?
Dude, the property manager, like if you could manage, like my guy who manages, we own some together, not JB, me and JB own 2 together. I have another guy who I first started with, we own like 7 or 8 together, and then I have like 4 or 5 of my own, but he manages mine. But just managing mine, like he's crushing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy makes some money. Like
I haven't done. I'll tell you,
you make good money.
I'll tell you, I want to do it. Where I think I would do. I'll only do it selectively. So like,
for sure,
guys in my mastermind, guys that understand real estate, like those are the people I really want to do.
I would do some with you.
Plain Jane, Plain Jane. I don't know that. And then, but what I really like too is the co-host model. So that's really something that is still new. Most people wanted arbitrage for so long during COVID.
Yeah.
I don't like the arbitrage model because it ties you to overhead immediately. Where you've got to you got to pay the rent no matter what happens with that
Yeah.
property. I like the co-host model where it's still, no matter what, I'm just working on optimizing the listing. Yeah, you can fire my ass at any time. That's reality. But at least this way, I don't have invested money and I'm not
For sure.
locked in. It's just my time at this point that's on the line. But
Yeah.
I trust my skill set, my capabilities to perform. So that's. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about that, I'm down, man. But I mean, it's interesting. Well, tell me. So you said yours aren't, like the luxury, the vacation, that kind of stuff. So are you getting like?
They in Jacksonville?
Experiences? What's that?
They're in Jacksonville?
Yeah. So what's your audience?
So typically the people that come are people who they're not necessarily vacationing there, but they're there for a reason. So like high school graduations, funerals,
Wedding.
weddings,
Golf.
We have the Florida Georgia weekend in Jacksonville, but really it's more of just construction companies, construction workers. So the thing is, I have regular houses, all between 200 to 300,000
Yep.
value, but they have to have at least 4 rooms and have a pull-out sofa in the living room, so I can sleep 10.
Got it.
So that's the thing about those houses. Like, I can't have a regular house and it'd be like a 2-bedroom or.
And you're making a lot more than on a typical regular long-term rental, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so you're still good. Like, those are still good to get. The only ones like that really crush are like definitely the ones that are more like vacation areas. Like, we have a lot of by the beach, and those fucking kill, and those are fire. But like, when you're still doing those, you're making a lot more than a single family rental. So those are good. Like, you should be like super pumped, and maybe not worth it to put in that kind of money into a property if that's your average customer.
Well, the only thing
But
about those, the reason why I'm so comfortable with those is like, as soon as there's any chance of Airbnb disappearing or not disappearing, but
you got options.
it gets shut down or whatever, stabilized rents, great,
Yeah.
like, or long-term rents,
Yeah.
right? It's good there, or also they're affordable houses,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
they're furnished already, so you can do like Furnish Finder or something like that. Travel nurses, you got options. So yeah,
yeah.
that's
so
good.
I kind of stay in those price points, but now like the mortgages aren't $1,200 anymore. They're like $1,900, $2,200,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh shit. Well,
Gotta buy creative deals.
correct.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta have those creative deals, seller financing.
I don't know how to get into it. Can you help me?
I can help you.
Tell us about the creative investor. What's that?
So that's like my group. So like I been doing creative financing since like 2017. I bought like majority of my portfolio through creative financing and raising private money. And so I've had many like one-off like mentees that I've helped, help grow their wholesale business, help them start buying their own first rentals and stuff like that. And I went to a Tim Brott's event. And he's like, you can't scale coaching. You can't help as many people doing a one-on-one. It just takes too much time. So you got to do like one to many. And so we were, so we put a course together about helping people not only, help them scale their business, but also not just focus on like transactional, like just doing wholesale deals and getting rehabs or whatever, but like buying assets and actually creating wealth. And the fastest way to do that is through creative financing. Like, you get better deals, you have less money, you can scale faster, and overall it's just help like put me on a rocket ship with creative financing and raising private money. So we just teach people how to do the same thing. So we've launched that like a month or two ago, and it's going good so far. Got some good people in there. People were like, we had a meeting today. I did it from the hotel, and there's people who locking up novation deals who weren't doing it before. People buying their first rental properties. We're working with somebody on a self-storage deal. Buying a deal with one of our students on a seller finance, 0 down to the seller, 0 interest. So just people are doing taking action, crushing it. One guy's about to quit his job here soon because he's picking up a bunch of arbitrage deals, replacing his income. He owns some Airbnbs already, so just trying to help people grow and like from that selfishly like hopefully get deals because as you teach people, they typically come back to you and say, hey, I got this deal. What do I do with it? And so like the self-storage factor, like this guy's marketing self-storage, he brings it to me first. This other guy found a deal in Central Florida with options. I told him how to structure it, and he's like, oh, can we buy it together? Oh yeah, I'll raise the money, boom, buy it together. So like it feeds deals. So essentially you get to help people and then kind of like sources for deals in the future. And as it grows, there'll be more deal sourcing and potentially private money and investors and partners. So partnerships equal rocket ships, and just trying to see how we can
Love that.
work with people and continue to grow.
Partnerships equal rocket ship. Equal rocket ship.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love that.
That's my partner's slogan.
Love that. I love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So, as far as like creative financing for, you know, you talked about like getting out of that transactional world, right? So that's tough for me. So, I don't know if it's because I just had a baby, but now I'm like, fuck transactional. I need to put some investment,
Yeah,
you
to
know,
build
put
up
some money
long-term
into
wealth.
work. Like, I need to stop going to the office every day, all day. So, like, how do you get out of that, as far as, like, in your mind? Like, you're just so worried about the next transaction. Like, you look at a deal and, like, yeah, dude, we could... Usually it's the good ones where you're like, dude, we can make a quick 40 to 60 grand on this.
So a good way to do it is pay yourself for it. So you can actually, so a lot of times I've raised creative deals with private money. So I will, and we're doing this on the Popka deal because the kid's like kind of newer in business. So I mentioned this on a previous call. So then when we structured this deal, he's like, oh, can we do what you said over here where we pay ourselves a fee so I still have marketing money since we're going to split it and I can't wholesale it to you. I want to keep a piece of it because he wants his first rental. So essentially, say you do a creative finance deal, say it's 200 grand, you need 30K down and 10K for repairs, whatever, 40K. You can borrow from a private investor if it's structured correctly and you have a good cash on cash return. You can be like, okay, I'm going to borrow private money, that 40K I need, but I'm actually going to borrow 55K, pay myself a 15K assignment fee, pay myself a fee, so I'm selling it because we sell it because I contract it under quick cash offer, but QCO, FL, whatever, buys the property. So I'm essentially signing it to that company. So I might not make the 30K assignment fee, but I'm making 15K. So you're doing both things. You're getting the upfront fee, and then you're also taking down the asset. So that's kind of like people do with like acquisition fees on commercial properties. You're getting paid up front, and then you own the property also. And so that can give you the best of both worlds, and just make sure you structure the deal where you have enough, cash on cash return. So typically for us, deals for us, we want to make like 15 to 20%. Because if I'm paying an investor 10%, I want to make sure I'm making money and we have room. But I've done deals where only the investor's getting money, but I have 0% interest, so all my payments go into principal, and I'm just, I'm going for the future of the tenant paying down my principal each and every month, and I'm in it for the long term. I have no money in the deal, my investor's making money, but I have equity, and I have a deal that's going to be in 10 years, gain 100K in equity. Yeah.
Love that.
Not including appreciation.
Because you know what I think is, I think you listen to so many social media influencers in real estate, and they all try to devalue appreciation. Don't bank on appreciation. Don't bank on appreciation. Only talk about the cash flow. And it's good. Obviously, we all want cash flow. But the reality is, I don't know if you guys would agree with me when I say this or not, but the majority of our money and our wealth is going to be created via appreciation.
And principal pay down.
And principal pay
People,
down.
yeah.
Right?
Money's made in
Asset
principal pay
paying
down.
for himself and it going up at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a double whammy.
Yeah.
Along with the tax benefits, the cash flow is a cherry on top, and it's amazing. But the real money is made in the growth of that asset, and so I think it's amazing. I love that. I love that concept.
It's huge. It's good. I love it.
So in the last 2 years, we went from basically 10 million in assets to 48. And my wife's always like, fuck, I feel like we have no money. 'Cause every time I get enough, it's like we're buying another one or just constantly leveraging, right? And I'm like, you have to understand the snowball effect that we're creating right now with the amount of equity pay down that is happening every month.
Yeah.
So I'm like, literally every month there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that are starting to add up. That it's not cash in the bank sitting here, right, that you can visually see, but I'm like.
Do you track your your REO schedule? So do you track your REO schedule so you can track each month what your net worth is and how much it's growing by?
No, I don't monthly.
Yeah, you should do that.
Is there software that easily does it, or do you have to?
I wish you have to do it fucking a spreadsheet. It's fucking nightmare. But
Do you have a template? You can
So maybe quarterly, because anytime with the bank, I got to go and where's your fucking balance sheet?
P&Ls and RS schedule.
An easy balance sheet software or something.
Yeah, I just do it with a spreadsheet and I have to update it every time. I'm almost consistent monthly, but it's every other month.
Here's all the loans.
Yeah.
But I wish you could just plug in the
You could probably train a VA to do it, but
appreciation schedule, right? You should be able to plug it in, and then be like, all right, today is
You
July
change the date,
1st.
Yeah.
And then automatically,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you automatically know like where your net worth is like growing.
yeah.
Start a software company. We don't have to ask questions.
You just get fucking Chat GPT to fucking build out you one. Like here's my platform, here's my spreadsheet. I can make it automated where I can just put in a date.
So
That's pretty smart.
So we were talking about this today. The biggest gap in the short-term rental space, the biggest gap is gyms, right? So if you're staying at a short-term rental, the only downfall there is you don't have a gym at most of them. And so there's one of two ways you solve that problem. One,
liability.
liability. Actually,
Probably
I'm sure that's
space.
huge, but also money. The investment
Space.
that's in space, liability, money invested, all of those things. So there's two ways to solve that problem. One is you actually literally start a gym, call it like the STR gym, and put it in like heavily STR markets like Scottsdale, like Orlando, like whatever. But only short-term rental guests can access it, right? And you're charging the host, and the host is doing whatever they want, whether they're billing their guests or not. They have memberships based on the number of properties. That's how much you bill the host.
Oh.
Right.
So they're the ones paying you. So it's like everybody wins.
What if like you try to partner with a local gym and be like, hey, I'll pay you a fee or
the
whatever.
other
That'd be
Like,
probably a
you
little
just
bit
create
quicker,
the
yeah.
Tool. You just create almost a website or the app where the local gyms, because they're struggling. A lot of them are struggling for money. So you can help boost that.
Like $10,
Just
like
have to
10
find
bucks
the
a fucking
integration
person.
there. Even as a host, because you don't care as a host if you're making money on this. What you really care about is being able to check that amenities.
Yeah,
box on
100%,
Airbnb,
yeah.
which boosts you in the algorithm. So it's a really big gap that I think can be solved. I've got the brain to market that
Why don't we
thing.
put a Peloton in the garage?
We could. I mean, we could, but I still don't know. Like, we have regular bikes in the garage, so like for me,
I'd rather go.
I've got exercise equipment checked because we have
Oh,
bikes.
Nice.
You know, so like that's good, but
I'd much rather ride out here than in the garage.
yeah.
It's nice out here.
Yeah.
You know?
But at the end of the day, it's still not.
Someone just brought
The
this
pizza
up.
here?
No.
Dude, I'm fucking starving. I've been eating all
Luggage
day.
across the street.
I like hiked Camelback. We haven't eaten shit all day.
There was an Airbnb meetup like 2 days ago that I went to in Jax, and I met a guy who is starting like a laundromat for Airbnb people. And
Yep.
there's this area
very
in town
smart.
called Murray Hill in Jacksonville. So there's a bunch of Airbnbs there, and he's just building, or I don't know if he's just converting it or whatever, but he's just doing a laundromat for just Airbnb hosts.
It's a great idea. I mean, the biggest. So actually, last night I took all my cleaners out for dinner. Not just the the owners of the cleaning company. I had them bring the
That's
entire
cool.
team, and I wanted feedback from them. I wanted feedback from them on all of our properties, all the other Airbnbs that they do. Like, tell me, guys, what makes your life hard? What makes it? And the time that it takes to do laundry is the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
And so right now, like, we're in Orlando, we got this 12 bed, 12 bath, and I'm only thinking about the nightmare this is gonna
Oh,
be,
shit.
right? Like, 12 beds, 12 people of towels, like, we're gonna have 34 occupancy, right? So how are we gonna keep up with that? We need to outsource linens, like, that's a big deal. And so I actually love that idea. I've talked about starting a laundromat before, even
we
for my
got
own.
we got wash and dryer upstairs and down here, right?
We do. We have dual. But here we sleep 18, right? Like, imagine 34.
Yeah.
Imagine 34. Like, that's gonna be a freaking monster.
Yeah, like 3
And
sets
the
of
amount of
laundry.
time. So like, we're actually right now. I'm struggling. I can't find a cleaner that'll commit the same day turnovers
Right.
over there. So I'm gonna lose a whole day of revenue, which I might be able to pick
Do you have
up
a whole
on the
second
back
set of
end.
sheets though?
Yeah, why don't you do
You
that?
just do a whole second set of sheets, right? Just do a whole change out.
Yeah, so we do, but you still have to launder the other ones, right?
Yeah.
And so whether it's at the house or at a different house or there, it's like somehow we're just.
Yeah.
So although I'm going to lose a day, I mean, I had thought about this. Although I'm going to lose a day because I can't do same day turnovers, where an opportunity to create is to charge for late checkout and early check-in the next day. So I could backfill some of that lost revenue with actually lower overhead this way, potentially. I don't know yet. I mean, I gotta see how that's all going to work. But it's an interesting dynamic, man. Every step of the way you go, you're just learning one thing at a time. And But I think outsourcing linens here in Phoenix, there's a company that does that. I haven't been able to find one yet in Orlando that does that. But even here in Phoenix, like they do it. But our homes are not big enough that that's a big enough issue for us. That wasn't one of the things that they complained about last night. Actually, they didn't complain about anything. They were great. They gave me some great, very, very solvable things that make their life a little difficult. But my question to them, and I love this. My question to them was, you guys clean other Airbnbs too. What can I learn from those other Airbnbs? Right. And they said, you should be teaching them. And it was like, cool. Like there's nobody that can give me better feedback than them. They know my houses better than I know my houses. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that was really neat. But it was cool too. It was like, in the who not how kind of philosophy, taking them out. And we were sitting there for dinner, and I told them, I said, hey, just so you guys know, Sunday is Mother's Day. Pick a house that's available. You guys have access to my calendar, and all of you go enjoy the pool together. And they all loved it. And I said, you all have 2 nights at one of our homes. Has to be a Monday and Tuesday night, but sometime this year, please, everybody let me know when you want it on a Monday and Tuesday night, right? These are the cleaners. It's not the cleaning company that's making all the money. It's the cleaners that are in here doing all the freaking work. And for me, it was just a no-brainer. I mean, I got so many Mondays and Tuesdays open, it's a no-brainer. And it was like nothing. And just seeing the look on their face and how far that went, I'm like, man, our houses are going to be clean forever.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, just real low investment to make your team happy. Love that.
That's great, smart man. I like it.
Yeah, I think if you can figure out the gym thing, it's got to be a huge business.
It's got to be.
Yeah. The quickest way has got to be to partner with the local gym, like not like LA Fitness, but like the local place, and just be like, hey man, like I own these Airbnbs, very close to here, and every time they come in, I'll give you $10, and you just tell the guest, hey, you got 5 free passes or whatever. Yeah. You get 5 free passes, so it will cost you $50 total. Anything above that's $10, and you just be like, hey, I'll pay you when they come in. They're gonna give you this voucher. I'll pay you that. You just charge my card for the $10. Everything after that, they're gonna pay for it. And it's like extra $10. Like, you want not money? Like it's
you know
money.
The reality is, most guests aren't gonna use it. Most guests will not use it.
They'll be like, oh, They're like, we can go to the gym. They got free gym passes, pictures of the gym on your Airbnb, and then they don't even go.
They don't even go.
Yeah.
The Planet Fitness model.
I know.
We were talking about this earlier today.
And that way there's no expense, and maybe it's $20 or whatever the gym you can negotiate. But like, if I send you this many people, what can you do for me?
Yep.
That'd be the best way, I think. Quickest.